Hey everybody, welcome back to CK3D. I'm Chris with the C, and I'm back with another 3D printing video. This video is going to be a basic update for first week, approximately. I think I'm like 5 or 6 days with the Bamboo Labs P1P, and so far, love it. Really impressed with the printer on the whole. Super reliable, really easy to work with. I had a couple print failures, but mostly those were self-induced with issues that I'll get to later. Some of the things I've run off. It's a great little dinosaur puzzle that was on the included SD file. I made this Mandalorian helmet here. I'll get in the Mandalorian helmets in a second. I made these boots for my wife's Build-A-Bear Frog Fillmore. They are that model of those big red boots that went viral a little while ago. If I can figure out how to edit, I'll put a picture of them, and then you'll be like, oh, those ones, but those are black, but these ones are black. Those ones are red. These ones are black. Those ones are full size. These ones are for the frog. He likes it. He's not bowing, but he just falls over. It's okay, Fillmore. And I also made a smaller boot to hold her mace, so that way when she's out, she can take her mace boot. People mess with her, she can defend herself, but also it's cute. It's got a little boot. Then I made some more Mandalorian helmets. Really enjoyed this one. This took about a week of printing in 8 pieces. And then this guy over here took 17 hours, one shot. It's a little small. I wish the Bamboo Labs P1P was just a fraction of a bit bigger. Like if we went up to maybe 300 by 300 millimeter build volume, it'd be choice. But this is really good. And if I'm talking finishing techniques, I don't really care about sanding my 3D prints that much. I'm gonna be honest. If I'm making a helmet or something cool, like some cosplay stuff, and you're like, I can tell you 3D printed it, I don't want to hang out with you. Okay, that's not the point. I painted it. It's cool. That's the point. What I really like that you can do straight in the Bamboo Lab software, add names and stuff for customizing things. I got the national championship years here. I'll show some close-ups in post if I can figure out how that works. Got his name on there. I had to mess with the settings. It was a little bit on the surface, but you can actually get that set into any model really easily. Let's see. I made this little panel here. I like what I did with the finish here. I did the black paint on real heavy, and then a silver on top of it while it's still wet. So I got this kind of nice, kind of crocodile kind of scale effect on there. And then the rest of this video, I'm going to show you the process I go through to try to finish these prints. I do some sanding to try to get away from some imperfections here. I think these were honestly my fault. I was switching between filament spools, and I had some leftover filament that just wasn't spooled very well. And because the P1P prints so fast, it's really sensitive to those kinds of things. I also had some issues printing this one out where I was using like a 2 kilogram spool, which didn't fit on the spool holder. So I tried to like hang it above my printer with an elastic band, and then that caused the filament to keep getting pulled in and out, causing a lot of issues. I lost like 2 days of printing to that nonsense. What the problem is, and it worked for these when I was running these off where I had the filament, but when the printer got to like a certain part of the tool head, when it got to a certain part, it would pull the filament too much and then fuck it all up. So it was like helmets where I really figured out that it was causing issues. And I think that goes to show the importance of you induce faults when you're not doing things properly. Don't assume what you're doing is fine. Double check things, but that's how you learn. So rest of the video, we're going to do some sanding on this just to get rid of some of these imperfections here. And then we're going to hit it with a couple coats of paint. I'm going to walk you through how I like to kind of weather things just to give it a little more character. Spoiler alert, multiple coats of paint, a little bit of sanding, bring out the edges, and then dusting with stuff. It layers of paint, how you give it some life without actually having to do too much work. So we're going to go through the process of this one now. Alright, you can see here I got some imperfections caused by inconsistent flow rate from the filament issues that I was having. So I'm going to sand that down, and then we're going to start hitting this guy with a couple coats of paint. And once we get him sanded down and hit with the first coat of paint, I'll give you guys a little update, see where we're at. Got a quick rough sand on this, hit it with the first coat of paint. I plan on sanding this back down, so I'm not super happy with what it looks like at the moment, but that's just part of the process. So gonna let this bad boy dry for a few hours, hit it with a couple more rounds of sand and painting, and I'll update you guys when I hit it with the chrome. Gotta say, I'm pretty happy with that. Got a nice star on the blue. Don't mind a little spray. I'm honestly like going for like a sprayed on look, because I feel like bounty hunters have spray paint. They're not gonna have access to like expensive airbrushing equipment. That seems unrealistic. Why would you expect bounty hunter armor to look perfect? It's a silly expectation. All right. So, as you can see, I kind of lost it. It made a whole bunch of Mandalorian helmets. I was trying out different finishing techniques and just seeing what I liked. Kind of went with a theme that was like if Mandalorians were part of regiments that are themed after like different sports teams. So that's kind of what I was doing. Didn't do a ton of other finishing on. This was just came straight off the bed with spray paint. One of the other things I love about the Bamboo Labs printers is because they're so fast. It's really easy to run something small like this off and then test out whatever kind of finishes and stuff you're doing, which I think is another feature that I really enjoy about the printer. I got my original helmet over here. I actually made this one on my Ender 3. It took about a week, 8 pieces, then kind of welded them together. The weld lines aren't very clean. I wasn't going for really clean, but honestly, I think if I was trying to go for clean, I wouldn't be able to do it. That's why I went for more of a welded look. At the end of the day, Mandalorians, they're bounty hunters. Stuff's going to be metal. It's going to show damage. So one of the things I like for damage is just do multiple layers of spray paint. So this was black and then silver and then orange. And then what you can do is just take sandpaper and just hit it, and it'll look really good for damage when you're trying to do that. I also did the same thing around the lines here. You can see the front of the Mandalorian helmet. I got these nice lines here. So you can do the multiple layers of spray paint and then kind of use sandpaper to bring out some of your details. This plate here is actually also printed on the Ender 3, but it was flat, and then I just took a heat gun and kind of molded it there to get that kind of stamped, hammered on metal look. And then we'll slide over here to the Cowboys theme one that I did for a family member. Went for just like a nice clean blue finish. Spray paint on here. Like, I'm not really trying to hide the fact that it's spray paint, especially for the stencil, because I think that's kind of goes with the theme of bounty hunters, cobbling stuff together. I actually went and scratched this up a bunch before I painted it, and I thought that I needed to do that to make the painting here. Really wasn't necessary. The blue spray paint I had has kind of a finishing, so it hides a lot of those lines. This one, not so much. So what I did is silver paint and then kind of just misted white towards it to kind of get a more of a... Now the battle damage kind of looks intentional. It goes with the theme, you know what I mean? So that's one thing I suggest when you're finishing and messing with your 3D prints. Like this, if you can see these lines here, this was a print mess up, right? So instead of throwing it away and be like, that print wasn't perfect, fucking get some spray paint on it, call it battle damage. And then we got, this is actually one of my favorite finishes that I did. This is actually from my wife's pet frog, Fillmore. His call sign is Killmore. One of the things that's also great about the Bamboo Lab software is it makes it really easy to do little customized touches like that. The text option to just put, a name on a helmet. This one's Denver Broncos theme, so I also put, the number of Super Bowl trophies we have there. And then for the finish, I made sure to get the blue fairly clean, and then did a misting of silver to kind of give it a little glare. And then this side actually came out of the print bed a little goofy because I had the filament in a bad spot, and it led to inconsistent flow on the plastic. I I sanded it down some, but then, you know, like I said, call it battle damage. Kind of oversprayed the blue into that on the orange side, which I really like. And I really like how that kind of comes alive as battle damage, especially it's a lot easier to hide and sell when you have the clean side as a counterpoint. And over here, I got this one I did for my best friend Zach. As you can see, Zach. Did this one in a Florida Gators theme, so I got the years kind of the national championships, kind of going for like if a bounty hunter would be like tracking his kills on his helmet, but it's sports, so you know. Did the stamp also on there. This was a template also printed on the printer. It took like 20 minutes. So great for small tasks like that if you need a stencil. For the finish, what I did was I did the black spray paint on top of it, and while it was still wet, hit it with the metallic that I've used on all these others, and I got a nice little kind of scale effect for the gator. I also, one nice little tip, I made the stencil, taped it, formed it to tape it on there, taped everything off, sprayed white underneath, took the template off, finished it with the silver and the black, and then glued it on there. So it gives you a nice depth of finish on that, which I'm really happy with the way that came out. And it's more of the battle damage and then the sanding to bring the edges out on this. And really happy with the way all these came out. Gonna move on to some other cosplay type stuff. My daughter wants to make some swords from Demon Slayer, so I think that's what our next couple videos are gonna be about. And I'll also update you guys on miscellaneous things, like if I have issues with the P1P. All right, so like, subscribe, comment, let me know what you guys want to see. I plan on doing giveaways when this channel gets bigger, just so if you get in early, your chances are better. I plan on making, you know, stuff like this, sending it out to viewers that I can. So, you know, thanks for joining me, and maybe I'll think of a slogan next time.